Hey everyone, it's FLAK Fire. Season 1 finally kicks off for Battlefield 2042 on June 9th. Now, there's been a ton of discussion surrounding what's on deck for the game and really whether it's enough. So, let's look at what DICE and EA are bringing to the table for Season 1. Quick note, EA did give me early access to the new content as part of a remote capture session, so thanks to them for that. That's where I recorded all of this footage that you see here in the background. That said, what exactly is being added as part of Season 1? Players are getting a new map, a new specialist with a new specialty, 2 new vehicles, 2 new guns, and a new piece of equipment. Now, there's no way around it, so I'll just go ahead and say it. That's not a lot, especially 8 months post-launch, and too little, too late. Hopefully the pacing of content will improve in the future, but let's look at what we're getting right now. For the map, let me introduce you to Exposure. This map is set in the Canadian Rockies after a landslide exposes an underground military facility. From a gameplay perspective, there's a lot going on here. On Conquest, you've got combat across 3 levels: the top, inside the mountain, and at the bottom. This is a welcome departure from many of the launch maps, which simply threw you into an open field. DICE are also playing it smart by tapping into some nostalgia. You'll notice you can jump off cliffs like Davamon Peak in Battlefield 3, and the combat inside the mountain has shades of Metro, though you can supposedly pilot a heli through there. For Breakthrough, you fight down the mountain, through it, and then up it, which honestly I found was pretty unique. I will say that I enjoyed Breakthrough on the map, and that is honestly the first time that I can say that about Battlefield 2042. There's a lot of verticality and plenty of different routes to traverse this map. There's even a vehicle elevator inside of the facility. Heli pilots will be able to dip out of sight in the huge crevasses, which will certainly limit the effectiveness of traditional anti-air rockets. However, this is where the new specialist, Liz, enters the picture. I still haven't revealed how Specialist will change moving forward, but in her current iteration, Liz is an engineer with a vendetta against vehicles. Her trait reveals nearby enemy vehicles that are damaged or hacked, while her specialty is a launcher that fires a player-controlled anti-vehicle missile. Now, off the bat, I will admit that sounds incredibly OP. However, in practice, it wasn't as much of a problem as I thought it would be, even with a server full of people anxious to try it out. I'm going to be honest here, you're not going to be able to steamroll vehicles with Liz. She is much more team-oriented, and you can't actually equip other launchers as equipment while you are using her as a specialist, so DICE have definitely worked in some additional balance work there. Liz does give you precision without tracking, but it is still a serious challenge to hit fast vehicles or aircraft with her launcher. I was a passenger in a helicopter, and the pilot dodged something like a dozen of them over a couple of minutes, and they did it just with subtle directional changes. If you're a target, the rockets are very loud, they're easy to locate so you can respond to them, plus they can be shot and do have limited fuel. I will say damage on them is also not great, but I would say that is to be expected from an ability that slowly recharges. The launcher is also useful if you don't want a direct line of sight to a target or you want a top-down attack similar to a javelin. As for vehicles, DICE added 2 new helicopters in Season 1, the YG-99 Hannibal and the RAH-68 Huron. Both of these have the same complement of weaponry, but are assigned to Russia and the US respectively. They do look cool, and they do helicopter things. That's about all I can say about it. I had hoped that they would tie into other systems in the game, but it looks like there are just a few more toys there for the sandbox. For guns, longtime fans will be happy to see the BSV-M and the Ghostmaker R10. That first one is undoubtedly seen as the natural evolution of the Asbel and provides a suppressed marksman rifle with some decent stopping power and a full auto option. Mag size certainly will limit its effectiveness, but I personally found it was a blast to use in game, and it really fills a void. You might think back to Battlefield 5, some of those marksman rifles, 10 rounds in the magazine, you got to be real particular with it. Fast firing, love that ability. The Ghostmaker resurrects the Phantom program's crossbow, and that offers a stealthy route for eliminating enemies, or a noisy one if you equip the explosive bolts. Developers also added a standalone smoke grenade launcher, which fills an equipment slot. Didn't get a chance to use this one in the playtest, but I'm sure it will appeal to some players who just want that extra bit of cover, or a flank, or a revive. I do want to take some time to talk about the Battle Pass here. There are 100 levels in the season's Battle Pass, and it's split up into your traditional free and paid unlocks. Here you will find mostly cosmetic items, though you can unlock some premium currency as well. So if you hadn't heard that, that's right, Boins are back. They're making a return. As far as I can see in the Battle Pass, nothing there influences gameplay. It seems to be locked behind a paywall or anything like that. But it does look like players can spend money to progress through the tiers if they want all of the items. Of course, we see that in other competing titles. Given the game's launch, I'm sure it won't surprise anyone if devs get dragged for the Battle Pass and asking for additional money, even if it is industry standard at this point. But overall, the content in Season 1, I would argue, is good. DICE is bringing the right stuff to the table. Map design is solid. It actually does play well, and I would say it does reflect the new developer approach for smaller and more meaningful spaces. Liz, as a specialist, also actually works. Her launcher is fun to use, and I don't think that it breaks the game. The new vehicles give players something else to work with, and they do arguably suit the game's aesthetic tone a bit better. The weapons are unique and serve a purpose, and I'm always happy to see more gadgets added to the equipment pool. However, as a start to Battlefield 2042's first year of content, I feel it's weak on substance when compared to previous games. It pales in comparison to the major updates of titles like Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, all of which featured several maps and expansions to player arsenals. Yes, those DLCs were funded by premium passes, but 8 months after a questionable launch, DICE and EA needed a home run here, not a safe base hit. Many players will simply find 0 Hour underwhelming, if decent. It's probably not going to create a massive influx of players or significantly raise fan confidence in developers, and those are two very big problems. I'm going to hit the copium for a minute and say that I'm hopeful 0 Hour means the game will continue to improve moving forward. It is clear from the art direction DICE is hoping to showcase this expansion as a soft reset for Battlefield 2042. You might also remember that Battlefield 5 had a rough start to its live service, and I will argue that developers were able to turn that around. So the same thing could certainly happen here. I've talked to a lot of developers lately, and they all seem genuinely excited about the future of this game and committed to making it the best that it can be. I will say, however, I am frustrated that we keep having the same conversation over and over. So, honestly, time will tell, but generally, positive impressions of Battlefield 2042 Season 1 0 Hour. I would love to hear your thoughts on the first season of content down here in the comments. Tell me what you think about everything that you've seen here. Is it enough? Do you expect more? What would you like to see in the future? Those are my 3 big questions for you, so answer at least one of those down below in the video comments. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like. If not, a dislike. If you want to support the channel, keep your money, share this video, or make sure to check out some of our channel sponsors. And as always, thanks for watching.